Now less than 5 minutes away from tonight's landing of the Olympus Soyuz, as it will touch down about 78 kilometers to the northeast of the city of Arkalyk. We hope to bring you live video from the landing site within a half hour or so. It all depends on how long it takes the all-terrain vehicles to get out to the landing site. Those vehicles carry our communications equipment on them. That brings us live video. So once we get it, we will bring it to you and hopefully bring you some live images of the landing site there. And watch as the crew gets extracted from the capsule. But all things are quiet here in Houston and in Moscow. Everything continuing to move very smoothly this evening. Now 2.5 minutes or so away from the landing of the Soyuz TMA-19. The spacecraft is about 2,400 meters in altitude right now. Continuing to descend. All of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters that are monitoring tonight's landing report good visual spotting of the Soyuz. They are also listening to the crew. The Soyuz now at 1,000 meters, continuing to descend. The crew still reporting that they're feeling fine, so they should be on the ground here in a couple of minutes. Now just 1 minute away from tonight's landing. The Soyuz still descending under its very large main parachute, which covers an area of about 1,000 square meters. The final touchdown speed of the Soyuz will be about 10 meters per second. The 3 crew members are sitting in some custom-made Soyuz seat liners. Those will actually pop up a little bit right before landing to sort of act as shock absorbers. And then, of course, those soft landing thrusters underneath the spacecraft will fire during the final fraction of a second of the landing to pad it as well. Ten seconds to go. We're standing by from confirmation from the team here in Houston.
Yes, correct. VHF is over. It's space to ground 1. Could you repeat it again?
Touchdown confirmed. Official landing time 10:46 p.m. Central Time.
The relay for
11:46 p.m. Eastern Time. It is 10:46 a.m. on the ground there in Kazakhstan. You see the board there at the front of the Russian Mission Control welcoming the crew home, giving them congratulations as this Soyuz TMA-19 under the call sign of Olympus, carrying Doug Wheelock, Shannon Walker, and Fyodor Yurchikhin, come back home to Earth after more than 5 months serving as members of Expedition 24 and 25. Once again, Yurchikhin now has 371 days in space. Wheelock has 178 days, and Shannon Walker 163 days.
Have a good day, night, or whatever you're having right now, and work with you again later. Okay, thank you very much, and talk to you later. Bye.
Сейчас у меня заканчивается копирование файлов, в смысле фотографий.
Shannon, the video is locked up. We understand they had a successful landing, but if the video could be reestablished, that'd be...
Okay, Scott, we'll work on it. And yes, it was, we heard that they just landed and the helicopter's about 10 minutes away.
Copy, thank you. And let me know when you want the MPC powered off.
And Scott, you can turn MPC off.
Capcom Shannon Lucid there here inside Mission Control talking with the Expedition 26 commander Scott Kelly aboard the International Space Station. He, as well as Skripochka and Kaleri, were following along with tonight's activities. They got the report that their colleagues have landed safely there in Kazakhstan. Once again, tonight's landing time 10:46 p.m. Central Time, 11:46 p.m. Eastern Time. It is 10:46 in the morning on Friday there at the landing site. Now that the capsule is on the ground, the Russian Mi-8 helicopters that have been circling for the past several minutes will begin the process of landing one by one. There are several different all-terrain vehicles also making their way out toward the landing site itself. The crews make very rapid work of detaching the parachute from the capsule so that any sort of inadvertent wind doesn't drag the capsule anymore away from where it landed. They will also begin the process of opening up the capsule itself and the hatch to get the crew out. They will be set up in some recliners very close to the spacecraft itself. And the doctors there on the ground will check them out and make sure that everything is okay. They will make some phone calls to their families and say hello now that they're back on Earth. And then hopefully we will be able to bring you some live video of all that coming up here shortly. But to run through the official times with you one more time, the hatches were closed between the Soyuz and the International Space Station at 4:14 p.m. Central Time. Undocking was confirmed at 7:23 p.m. Central Time. The deorbit burn started at 9:55 p.m. Central Time. That ended at 9:59. And then our landing just took place at 10:46 p.m. Central Time. We will get an on-site weather report for you coming up here shortly whenever we're able to confirm it. But the weather's still very cold there in Kazakhstan. It's in the 30s. There is a ceiling at about 10,000 feet. And there's a light haze, which is reducing visibility down to about 5 kilometers. But that's still pretty good for this time of year. They were worried about some snow and some freezing rain moving in for our landing. But that weather system stayed to the north and to the west. The visiting vehicle officer here inside Mission Control has confirmed that the capsule did indeed land on its side. This is not atypical. So what they will do is actually pull the crew out like that. They don't go through the effort of trying to right the capsule up most of the time. They usually just open up the hatch and pull the crew members out like that. The first helicopter has landed, and the all-terrain vehicles are about 1 kilometer away, so they should be there here very, very shortly. The crews will also set up a medical tent. It's a bright orange inflatable tent that they set up out there just a few yards away from the capsule itself. Once the crew members have been set up in those recliners, have had a chance to eat a piece of fruit and to talk with the team there, also make some phone calls to their family, they will fairly rapidly be moved into that medical tent where they will remove their Sokol launch and entry suits and get into some more comfortable clothes. The Russians make very quick work of all this, especially whenever the weather is as cold as it is right now. And then they will board, each one of them will board one of those Russian helicopters and make their way back to Kustanai this evening, which is where they will have a traditional welcome ceremony there on behalf of the Kazakhstan people. And then at that point, Fyodor Yurchikhin will board a plane that is run by the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center and will fly back to Moscow with a lot of the Search and Recovery Force people. And Shannon Walker and Doug Wheelock will board a NASA plane there in Kustanai and head back toward Houston for an arrival sometime over the next day or so. So once again, the helicopter's in the process of landing there at the Soyuz landing site. The all-terrain vehicles should be on station by now, and we are standing by to receive our first live video there at the landing site. The team there in Moscow continuing to stay in pretty close communication with the search and recovery forces. There's another look at our landing site just to the northeast of the city of Arkalyk. While all of this activity has been going on, another crew getting ready to launch